everyone, and welcome to the Stringing It Together podcast. I'm Becky, your host, and I'm coming to you from a, unfortunately, very chilly Saturday in Dortmund, Germany, where I live with my two cats. Just right out of the gate, I want to let you know that if you're looking for me on social media, I'm most active on Instagram and on Ravelry, and I'm soprano knits in both places. If you're new here, I'm a professional opera singer, hence the soprano knits. And I'm also a knitwear designer, so I have my designs on Ravelry, and those are linked below, both my Instagram and my Ravelry. So it has been quite a few months since I recorded last. Today is April 13th, and my last podcast I saw went up on November 24th, so it's been quite a while. And the main reason for that is, well, I haven't felt like podcasting really because I haven't felt very much in the past few months like working on my projects or like crafting at all. And there are several reasons for that. Basically just a lot of the problems that have arisen within our communities. Well, the problems were already there, but the discussions that have been happening around them, specifically racism in the knitting community. And to start this off, I just want to say that I really apologize that I've never made it explicit here that I fully intend for this to be a safe space for everyone on the basis of any way that you identify, whether that's a racial identity or a sexual orientation, a gender identity, all of that. That my deepest hope is that everyone feels welcome here, and I fully acknowledge that I made a huge mistake in never making that explicit. So my intention is to do that now and to let everyone know that I'm happy that you're here, that you're welcome here, and that I am working to make my corner of the internet more inclusive. So to sort of go off of that, it's been an exhausting few months for everyone, including us white people, but obviously less so than the Black, Indigenous people of color that are in our community that have been propelling this super important discussion forwards with a lot of their emotional labor. And it's been really difficult, particularly to see a lot of my friends who are really amazing women of color in this community go through what they've had to go through as a result of these discussions. And while I have to say that it's been overwhelmingly positive what I've seen happen, it doesn't outweigh the negatives because the negatives have been really big and really real. And I mean, I've seen that for me as well, even coming from my place of privilege, that it's been really difficult, as I've spoken out about this, to see friends that I meet in this community at the very beginning decide that this wasn't something that they were willing to discuss or engage in and leave my space or say mean things to me or whatever. Yeah, it's just been difficult across the board. So yeah, it's been a lot. And then there's been the whole issue of making things, which some of you will remember back around when I was recording last. The Making Things app launched, and I was a designer with them at the launch, as well as working for them part-time. I won't really launch really deeply into what happened here because I really outlined that clearly in a few Instagram posts, and I will link to those specific posts below so that you can go and read about that. You don't have to be on Instagram to go and read that just on your internet browser. You can just click those links and go over there. But they made it very clear that they're not a safe space, and that was a really exhausting thing for all of us that were a part of that. It's hard to be really eloquent about speaking about all of this, but it's been really important, and it's taken a lot of emotional energy from everyone that's engaged with it, but definitely primarily Black, Indigenous people of color. So yeah, I would say that's the main reason for the hiatus. I did want to come on and say all of this stuff sooner, but I wanted to wait until I really felt like recording and can do it with joy and clarity, and be here with you guys about that. So yes, I'm sure I'm gonna watch this back and be like, I didn't say everything I wanted to say, but I don't think it's ever gonna be perfect. But those discussions are ongoing, and if any of you have questions about that, I'm sure you're probably all aware, but if you're looking for more resources, feel free to contact me, or you can check out my Instagram, or contacting me through Instagram is probably the best way to do that. Please do not contact me to tell me that I should stick to the knitting, or that this isn't an issue. Those kind of comments will not be responded to or tolerated, and I will also be monitoring the comments on this video to make sure that there's none of that going on. If you don't agree that everyone should be welcome in the knitting community and that that's like a work that needs to be done, you are more than welcome to leave. Otherwise, I'm really happy that you're here, and let's move on with some content. So obviously after such a big hiatus, there's a lot to cover. I'm not going to cover everything that I worked on or everything that I made. That would be kind of crazy. So I'm just going to kind of work on talk about some stuff that I want to highlight. So, first of all, pattern releases, because I am a pattern designer. Yay! And you might have noticed I am wearing one of my creations, and this is my first ever garment design, and I'm super excited about it, super proud of it. This is the Areca pullover, and I released it in February, I think. Yeah. So yeah, it is an Aran weight circular yoke sweater that's knit from the top down, and it has kind of a raised neck, as you can see, and it has these caliper cables in the yoke that are really fun to do, and other than that, it's just mostly straight stockinette. The good thing about it is, even though it's Aran weight, it doesn't use that much yarn, so I think it's a fairly affordable sweater to knit, of course depending on the yarn that you want to use for that. I used Oysters and Purls yarn. It's an Aran weight that she's not currently dyeing on, but she's stocking it in her shop in several undyed colorways. Yeah, so you can go over there, and again, I will link that below. She's amazing, and again, especially undyed, it's a really affordable sweaters quantity. So that would be awesome if you guys wanted to knit it. So yes, and an update on this, I wrote the pattern for 6 sizes. And off the top of my head, the largest size goes up to a 52 bust currently. I realize that that is not an inclusive enough size range, and grading it to include more sizes is in the works. I will give you more information as that becomes available. If you have been interested in this pattern, but your size wasn't included, and you would be interested in test knitting it, that would be awesome. And you could already get in touch with me about that via my email, or the best thing to do is there's also a newsletter sign up below, and if you sign up for my newsletter, you can check a box saying you're interested in test knits, and you will get the email that specifically relates to that. So thank you for your patience while I work on that. Yeah, I want to apologize for that as well. I'm a new garment designer. I thought 6 sizes was like a manageable range for me to grade, and I did the grading myself, which a lot of designers don't do, I found out. But I am going to employ some help to grade it up with someone who has a lot of experience doing that, because I want it to be good. So yeah, that is in the works, just so you know. But you can go check it out on Ravelry and purchase it as is now, and then of course you will get an update with the extended size range once that is available. So yes, Areca Pullover, I'm very excited about it. I love it. Also, the Gallbladder shawl has been released, and I don't have it in here with me, but I will pop in some photos of it. I love it. I think it's probably the pattern I'm the most proud of designing, because it has a really interesting construction. It is really easy to knit. You knit it in 2 separate pieces and then grab them together in the end, so it also makes it pretty portable. That was a collaboration with Morgan. Hi Morgan, of Knitcraft and Knittery, who is awesome, and her and I have become like super amazing internet friends. We haven't met in real life, but it's gonna happen. Yeah, so she also has kits. Probably at the moment she only has pre-orders, but usually she can get those done within a week. But the cool thing is that you can choose your colors for that. And I used her Sustainable Merino, which is amazing, and it's not a super wash, and it's an amazing base. It's just the best. Yeah, and it was written for fingering weight. You could use any weight, you could use any amount. It's written as a recipe, so you can figure out how big to knit it before you need to knit the other sections and stuff like that. So that is exciting as well. And then the last thing isn't a new pattern, but it's a relaunch of a pattern. It's a relaunch of my CALLUNA socks, and my friend Candace, who is transitory and has the Pin Feathers and Purls podcast, knit the sample for me, so I don't have that here either, but I'm popping in some photos. This was a reboot because the original design was knit in Tuscan knits, and she is a garbage person and has been very racist. And then it's become very clear in the last few months. So I did not want to have any pattern that referenced her or would send her any, we needed to get out of that situation. I bought a skein of yarn that's really beautiful from Ocean by the Sea. And and Candace offered to knit it for me, so I sent her the yarn. She knit it, and she took some photos of it, and yeah, it's much better now. And it was also featured in Yarn People, and their issue has been updated, provided that you have it linked on Ravelry. And if you have an issue with that, you can email them, and they'll make sure that you have the new version as well. And I'm really grateful to them for going through the trouble of re-releasing their issue for that purpose. But if you know anything about Yarn People and what they're about, that's inclusivity is their mission. So it was a no-brainer for them as well to sort of support that relaunch. So I'm really grateful for that. So that is all for news of pattern releases. So other than the finished objects that are those patterns. I really just have one finished object to share with you. And that is my Norte cardigan, which is right here. I don't want to mispronounce the designer's name, so I'm putting it here. But I knit this out of Mulview yarn in their Welsh Mule 4-ply, which is a 4-ply, but it's more of a sport weight. And this project was a bit of a challenge for a couple of reasons. First of all, I made a couple of modifications. I knit the second size because I wanted it to have a little bit of positive ease. I added short rows. It didn't have any short row shaping in the neck, and I have no interest in basically ever knitting a sweater without short rows ever again. Raglans without short rows, especially that are cardigans, absolutely do not fit me. So I added short rows, and the ribbing has a rolled edge, and I didn't do that. Mainly because I was playing yarn chicken with this project, and I knew I was going to be playing yarn chicken from the beginning. I bought this yarn at EYF last year, and I bought 3 skeins of it, and that was like pretty much exactly the meterage for this project. But I didn't have this project in mind when I bought the yarn. I just bought it and knew it would be a sweater. So I knew I was going to be in trouble. So what I did is I knit the body, and then before doing the ribbing, I just put all the stitches on hold, and then I knit the sleeves, and I had to knit the first sleeve 3 times. The first time it was too tight, or I mean it fit, but it was like sausage sleeve. It was just like too fitted than what it wasn't the fit I was going for. I wanted it to have some positive ease. Then the second time I knit the sleeve, it was huge. Like, it looked ridiculous. And then the third time was just right, but that was frustrating to knit it 3 times. But anyway, I knit the sleeves and put those on hold as well. And then I only had, I think, like 20, 25 grams of yarn, and one of my friends came to visit me from my Frankfurt knitting group, and she was like, "You're not going to be able to finish it with that." And I was like, I think I can do it. Because the problem was that I had to pick up the stitches for the ribbing, and it was kind of hard to gauge how much that was going to take. So I finished the body, then I did this, and then I knit the sleeves, and I ended up having 8 grams left over. I'm proud of that. And I also, because I knew I was going to run out, I contacted Maria of Knitted Chickens, because I know that she knit a pair of socks out of this yarn in what looked like the same colorway. We ended up doing a swap, which was really fun. But her leftovers of the yarn, I think she had about like 30, 35 grams. Didn't match. It was like a totally different color blue, but it was really hard to tell online. And Moldview, if you didn't know, naturally dyes all of their yarn, so it would be impossible for me to buy another skein and expect it to match. So I just thought, okay, I'm gonna have to make it work, and yeah, I did. I did make it work. So yeah, and it's been getting actually a ton of use. I like it because you can't really tell, I don't have it on. I guess I could sort of put it on. I don't know. It's a V-neck, which I like. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really nice overlayer, and since it has a little bit of positive ease, it's just really easy to wear, throw on over anything. So I'm really happy with that. I really love the yarn. It does pill a little bit, but pilling doesn't really bother me. I have a gleaner, I can always glean it off. I'm not sure about my button choice, but I don't know. I might change them, but that's an easy fix. So anyway, that is my Norte cardigan, and I love it. Okay, so I'm going to share 2 works in progress with you guys. The first one is another sweater, and this is also out of yarn that I bought at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival last year. I did not go this year. I wanted to. I couldn't because of work. We had 2 performances that weekend, and it was just not possible from a scheduling standpoint. So this is I don't know which way is the front. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does because there's short rows, but anyway, to show you, it doesn't matter. So this is my stelastite sweater, which is a pattern by Camille Rossel, and it was in Lina issue 4 or 5? 4 or 5. Yeah, so it will be a turtleneck, long sleeve, pullover. I'm almost done with the body. I knit it too long and had to frog a couple inches of work last night, but I'm on the ribbing. And yeah, it might be too warm to wear it soon, but I don't know. It was snowing yesterday, so who knows. But I'm really happy with how it's knitting up. So the yarn is, I meant to bring my last gate over, but I didn't. It is Hahlberg, and the gray is their obsidian shade. It's an undyed color, and I believe it's merino. Yeah. This is kind of local to me. They're based in Munich, which is in Germany, of course. And then this color is on the same base, but it was naturally dyed by Yule of Hey Mama Wolf. And they have that available also at EYF. I know that Hahlberg has some yarn dyed by her still, and also by Moldu, I want to say. So if you were interested in using this yarn, which I really recommend it, it's a beautiful yarn. I think I have like a hair in my eye. You can go look at that there. So they're knitting up really beautifully together, and I'm really excited about it. And it's been a good project because it's pretty mindless, and you can memorize this chart super easily. So yeah, but it's kind of bulky to travel with me, so I mostly just work on it at home. So when I've been going off and doing things, I also have a couple of works in progress, by the way, that are for publications, but I can't show you those because they are secret. But I have 2 very exciting things coming out in the fall. So obviously I will give you more information when I can, but I'm working on 2 things at once. One of them is in test knitting, and I'm really excited about both of them. But yeah, this is my non-design knitting that I've been working on. So my other one is my Sahel top, and this is also, this is patterned by my friend Anne. Lost a bunch of stitches, and I'm in the middle of a row. Hang on. Okay, I went ahead and just finished this row. So this is my current progress on my Sahel top. So some of you might remember this. I started it last summer, and it took a long hiatus, and now it's back. Yeah, so it is a tank top, and oh, it's just so beautiful. So this is the front, which is done, and the construction is super cool because you seam up the sides, but this was all done like in one piece without having to like stop knitting. It's so cool. So I'm doing the other side, which is back obviously now. It takes a long time. I did not get gauge and had to go down a bunch of needle sizes, which I'm sure is affecting my road gauge. I don't remember when I did it, but yeah, and it's small yarn, and I have the chart memorized, but you have to kind of constantly read your knitting. So it's a labor of love. It's an amazing pattern. It's just not very mindless. So, but the great thing about it is that it's super portable. So I'm knitting it in the original yarn, which is Blacker Yarns Lioness, which is 50% Falkland wool, probably merino, and 50% linen. So it'll be great for summer. And this is in the Moonstone color, which is the same color that was originally that the sample was knitted. I should also mention that both this pattern and the Norte pattern were both originally featured in Breeze, which is a book by Making Stories. But I would have to say that if you wanted to knit one of these two patterns, I would recommend buying the individual pattern directly from the designer. This is a little bit hard for me to talk about, but at the beginning of the year, myself and a couple of other designers that have worked with them several times reached out primarily concerning the fact that they made the decision to publish their print books as ebooks, which was a complete surprise to the designers that were involved. I've been involved in 2 of their print publications, and it was never presented to me as a possibility that that was a decision that they could make. And given the fact that the ebooks are provided at a much lower price in direct competition with the individual pattern prices, which are stipulated in our contracts that we can't change, was a blow, really. I mean, because most of us, I think, haven't experienced that many individual pattern sales, but now, I mean, since they've made this decision, I haven't gotten any on any of those patterns because it makes a lot more sense to buy the ebook. And our feeling at the time, and my feeling still, is that that should have been made clear from the outset, or if they wanted to change it, that should have been a discussion about how to compensate us further for our work being redistributed in a completely different format than we believed we were agreeing to. But it's been kind of a recurring theme that they play up the gray areas in the contracts to do what they want. There have been a number of issues that have arisen, some of which have come to resolutions eventually, and some of which have not. And more recently, they offered a couple of solutions that they never followed up on. So it's difficult for me to talk about it, and I haven't known whether I should, mostly because the people behind it were people that I got to know and considered to be friends. But how we treat each other in business and how we're compensating designers and people that we work with monetarily is important. So suffice it to say that obviously you're welcome to do what you wish and think what you wish and make your own decisions, but my personal recommendation would be to buy the individual patterns from the designer for these publications if you're financially able to do so, and to also keep in mind that with most of their print publications, certainly for jewels, they release the individual patterns, but they hold on to the rights and all of the funds that come in, and they don't make that explicit at all, which is something I also think is a bit odd. So, So I'm going to move on to a very brief sewing section, and for that I will do a little costume change. So I'm just going to talk about one pattern for sewing. Again, I've sewn more things, I believe, since last time I talked to you. But I love this pattern, and I've sewed so far 4 different versions of it, and I have a 5th cut out and plans to make more. And I want to share with you guys because I'm really excited about it. So it is the Frances pattern by Victory Patterns, and I am wearing one version of it, which is a dress. I'm going to pop in a better picture so that you can see the whole dress version. But I love this pattern. It comes with a ton of different options. So there's a crop top, there's a kind of normal hip length top, and there is a dress with pockets. And then there are 4 different necklines, 3 or 4. There's a turtleneck, which I've made 3 tops in. There's this crew neck, there's a scoop neck. There might be 2 different depths of the scoop neck. And then one of them has like a big scoop back as well with like a tie that goes across. And then there are cap sleeves, 3/4 sleeves, full-length sleeves. I mean, you could also just make a sleeveless version, which I've thought about as well. You could just like turn over the hem and stitch it, or the raw edge of the armhole. I love this pattern. And yeah, so it's a jersey or a knit pattern. And I've just found it really easy to sew, and you can whip one up in a pretty short time, and yeah, I just love it. So I will also be inserting, or probably already have, some photos of the other versions that I've made, and I would highly recommend it to you guys because I think it's awesome. it fits me really well, at least. So that's great. So my last kind of segment, which is a new one, is a mending segment. I've been thinking a lot about mending and some of my makes, as well as just some other like store-bought things that I have in my wardrobe. If you guys don't know, if you're new, I'm kind of like minimalist-ish. I hesitate to use that term because, I don't know, it's like now minimalism is sort of like a marketing scheme like everything else. But I don't like having that many things. I find like I'm happier that way. And I recently went through my wardrobe again and pulled a bunch of stuff out that I want to get rid of, and then had a big pile of things that I wanted to mend in some way that I was like, I think I would wear this if it was just a little bit different. So one thing that I did already mend was a sweater that I knit last year, which is the perfect crop top pattern, and then I used this striping sequence that Casey Maura of Casey's Creative Musings. That's your podcast, right, Casey? I think so. Or just the Creative Musings podcast, maybe. Came up with and detailed on her Ravelry page. And the only problem with it was that I knit the sleeves too short. They hit like right in the crease of my elbow pit. And it was too tight. So it just like wasn't comfortable. And for that reason, I didn't want to put it on. So I just knit them longer, and I still kind of feel like the bind off is too tight, so I might also rip that out again and redo that, but it hits at a better spot now and I'm much more happy with it. So, I mean, it was a pretty easy fix, but it's just like, we need to find a way to make mending sexy again. Was it ever sexy? We need to find a way to make mending sexy so that we want to do it. Because I have so many things that I want to mend, but of course it's like, I want to make new things, or I want to work on new things usually. So I have a couple of sewing patterns that I want to adjust, but here's one I adjusted. This is the Sunny Top or Dress by the Friday Pattern Company. I made a dress out of it. It's my own fault. I didn't like check the measurements, and it was like hugging, it was like too tight. I didn't feel comfortable in it because it's a pretty like straight shape, and it just wasn't something that I felt good in and comfortable in my own skin, kind of. It felt like walking around naked or something. So I am finding things that are fitted, obviously, but the cool thing about this dress is that it flares out. That's a silhouette that I feel better in. So I chopped it off and I made it a top. So that was a pretty quick fix, but it was something that just sat there for a long time because I just didn't want to do it. But I waited until I had white thread threaded on my twin needle for something else, and I went ahead and did it. So it's not my favorite shirt in the world, not for any particular reason, I don't know, but it works. It's just like a t-shirt, and it's really soft. It's jersey as well. And this one is an upcoming mend that I'm going to talk about so that I feel hopefully motivated to fix it. This is another sweater that I knit that is an adaptation of Melanie Berg's Threshold sweater, I believe it's called. Is it snowing? It's rain snowing. Glad I'm inside. Basically, I just took like the shape and the neckline from her pattern because I do think the neckline is really cool. It was a crazy construction as well. But it had like an all-over texture pattern, and I just decided I didn't want to do that. So I didn't. And I did this color blocking, but I don't wear it that much. And it is made from a superwash yarn, which I no longer knit with, but it has cashmere in it, and it's really, really soft. And yeah, again, like if you guys know me, you know that I don't gravitate towards superwash yarns anymore, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to wear the things in my wardrobe that I love that are made out of those yarns, because that would be even more wasteful. So, yeah, but what I decided, because I was like putting it on and I was like, what is it about this sweater? Because every time I wear it, everyone's like, oh, that's great. And I'm just like, I think it's the length somehow. So I'm going to rip back and have it be like there. So it's kind of going to be like a cropped deal. And I'll just leave the sleeves. I mean, I don't care that the color blocking will be off. But yeah, I think I would wear it more if it was cropped. I can't really tell you why, I just, like, it's what it wants to be. So that will be something that I work on. I'm gonna put this on because I'm kind of cold. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for projects and stuff like that, or at least projects that I can show you. Obviously there would be way too much info to catch you up on that has happened in the last few months, so I will not attempt to. In the intro, I'm just going to put like some kind of random things. There's some footage from my trip to Chicago that I went home over Christmas and New Year's, which was really great. We almost never get holidays off, so I savored that opportunity. And I went to Berlin and Dusseldorf, and yeah, so just some kind of random stuff. Next week, next Friday, I'm going to Italy, which I'm super excited about. I haven't been back to Italy since 2012, when I spent almost 2 months in Italy and was really studying Italian, and I worked on this farm, very small, like self-sustaining farm in the Italian Alps, and I haven't seen them since, but I've stayed in touch with them here and there. They have relocated now, so they're close to Biella, which is still like kind of north, but I'm gonna go visit them, and I think they're having some sort of like crazy like kid workshop, and one of their daughters that was 3 last time I saw them is turning 10, and I'm like, what? So she's having her birthday, so I think it's gonna be kind of like crazy and chaotic, and part of me is like, this is the vacation I want, but I just decided I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna embrace like whatever craziness happens. And it'll be fun. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I'll try to take some footage and stuff while I'm there. Yeah, it's definitely snowing. And share that with you guys. Yay! I think it's gonna be kind of chilly, so part of me was like, oh, if I could finish my stalactite, that would be great. It's probably not gonna happen. Anyway, that's the main news. Otherwise, I'm working, designing, doing stuff. I have a lot of garment designs on the brain, so I'm hoping to get to work on some of those soon. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like I've been talking for a while, and I like to do shorter episodes, but obviously after such a long time away, there was a lot to catch up on. So yeah. If you're watching this in real time, I'm wishing you guys a great rest of your weekend, and I hope the weather's better where you are than it is here. And yeah, happy knitting, happy making,